Hey everybody, Coach Christine Hinton here yet again for video number 2. Thank you very much for I think I have like 3 or 4 subscribers now on my channel, which again, I have no expectations of this actually going far. It's more just for fun and you never know, right? I did post this on Facebook just to kind of generate some more views. And as a result, I got some responses underneath that posting with some things that some people were hoping that maybe I would touch upon. So I wrote them down, and a lot of great suggestions. Tommy asked about qualifying for Boston. He's trying to qualify for Boston in 2020, and he's running the Marine Corps. Great, excellent topic, and I definitely want to discuss that. Also would love to discuss about the TRX system. Also, Peter had asked about lack of motivation, what to do. That tends to be a huge one that a lot of people talk about, just having this lack of motivation when they're working out. So that's definitely something we can touch upon. June, June Johnson, love her. My favorite one that she said she wanted to discuss self-growth, living your best life, and not giving a shit what other people think. Which is pretty obvious by my whole channel here. I'm not really caring too much what everybody thinks. But I do think that that is somewhat of a learned skill. So that would be fun to talk about as well. But I think the thing I'm going to talk about today is what Tara brought up on Facebook. She said that right now she can't run. So Tara used to be a running client of mine. And she can't run. She says that she's got surgery likely for her foot, but she's sidelined. She can't run, so she wants to be able to do other things. So really this could go across the board. If you're in any kind of athletic field, whether it be running or cycling or swimming or whatever it is, football, baseball, if you get hurt, it's often very difficult to stay motivated when you can't participate in your main sport. So, for example, I've always identified myself as a runner. And I'm guessing that's how Tara feels, although I know Tara does a lot of yoga as well, which I'm hoping that that's still an activity that she's able to pursue right now. But yeah, so when you're injured, first of all, it sucks. And there is a little bit of a mourning process because you have lost something. You've lost something that you have been able to do on a daily basis or every other day type of basis that has allowed you to get your physical activity, but also gives you, especially running with the endorphins and the stress relieving effects of being physically active. When that stuff's all of a sudden gone, it can be a big, big downer. So not just physically can things kind of go downhill, but mentally too. It can be difficult to kind of stay motivated to maybe perhaps look into some different things. And today I'm drinking water because the reason I'm doing this topic today, I'll tell you guys in a minute, but I'm drinking water, so it's not vodka. But I will give a shout out to Tito's, which I might have later. Actually, what I do, so while we're discussing hydration, first of all, I know I'm all over the place, and I apologize, so hopefully you can keep up with all the different directions that I go in. But my goal over the summer has been to drink a gallon of water every day. And I'm not one that enjoys the taste of just plain old water, so I did 2 things that really, really helped me. So if that's a goal, maybe, Tara, as you're trying to find activities that you can do that won't irritate the foot and that you can do with the foot being injured right now, I've also kind of taken a step while I've been injured and tried to find other things that I can do that continue to make me healthy, give me little daily goals, keep me motivated in other ways that might not be just physical activity related. So water has been a big one that I've tried to do this summer. So I have a big gallon jug, and in that gallon jug, the night before, I'll cut up cucumbers, which is my favorite. The cucumber water is definitely my favorite one. But I've done strawberries. What else have I done? I think I've done blueberries. You could do lemon, lime, all that kind of stuff. Add a little bit of flavor to water, and it makes drinking the water go down 1,000 times faster. I also keep it in the fridge so I don't add any ice to it. I don't know if that makes a difference, but it seems like I'm able to get more. And then using a straw tends to make you drink more. So I pretty much got water all the time with me. And I think it's making a difference. I don't know. But they say it's good. So we'll see. So anyway, back to trying to find things that you can do and how you can cope with being injured and sidelined from your main physical activity. So I can relate with Tara in that I currently am injured. So I was injured back in, almost a year ago. Well, I ran in May of 2016 was when I ran my last ultra. I ran 109 miles at an ultra up in New Jersey called At the Fair, 3 days at the fair, and loved that event. It was my second year doing it. Covered 109 miles. My back had already been kind of bothering me, and at that point, and my plan was to then do a fall marathon, but somewhere between finishing the ultra and starting back up training for the marathon in the fall, my back was just like, it's not happening. And it was bad. Like, when I say it was bad, I am not exaggerating. Like, it would take me to the floor. My back would like seize up. Long story short, and if we ever want to talk about back issues, because now that I'm experiencing them, I'm finding like I feel like half the people I talk to have got some kind of back issues going on. So we can always discuss that at some point too. Trying to stay focused here. So when you have a particular injury, so for me it was my back. For Tara, it's her foot. For a lot of people, whatever it is, leg, arm related, you have to try to find an activity that you can do that A, doesn't aggravate it, but B, also strengthens the muscles and the ligaments and the tendons that surround that area. So for me, when you have a back problem, strengthening your core, and your core is not just your abs. Your core is really, from like here down to your thighs. So strengthening all that will then help the weaker parts of my body. Mine's never going to heal because my disc is gone. But for Tara with the foot, you didn't give me specifics about it, but hopefully if you can do some maybe balance type drills, things that help your proprioceptive skills so that the ligaments and tendons in the foot that surround the area that's damaged then gets healthier, stronger, and help you kind of get back into the activities you would rather be doing. That said, you still want to be able to stay active. And when it comes to your particular injury, you need, again, to find an activity that you can do. But I really think it's important because a lot of times what will happen is people say, like, well, my foot's injured, and someone throws out, well, go swimming. But in your head, you're like, I hate swimming. I don't want to go swimming. So I think it is important to think outside the box sometimes. We as runners, or those of us that are watching that are runners, we tend to think of biking, swimming, and running. And this is why I decided to kind of go into this today, is that I am going to do my first boxing conditioning class tonight. Actually really soon, so I need to get going here in a minute. But so I've done a variety of like kickboxing. I've done a fight fit class, which was amazing, loved it, but it got really, really big, and I prefer that more one-on-one attention. Actually even kind of sparred one time with somebody, which was a mistake because I wasn't ready. I thought I was, but I wasn't. So I decided, I've been thinking, like, what other activities can I do since I can't run every day anymore? I can't lift weights over my head anymore. I can't do CrossFit where I'm jumping on boxes. I'm guessing, Tara, you probably can't do any of that stuff either. Even yoga for me, certain things with yoga, like I have to be careful because all the bending over and everything. So I have to think outside the box. And there is a a boxing gym called Temple Boxing around the corner. So I walked in there today when I was doing some errands and talked to the owner, Nick, and he invited me to come back for a free trial class tonight at 5. And I did already work. I ran with the cross country team this morning, and then I got on my bike. See, biking, running. So I'm hoping that that's going to be something that my back can tolerate. That they can maybe, he, and I do think this is important, Tara, too, and any of you that are injured, is that when you do try something new, you want to make sure that you've got somebody with you that knows what they're doing, and preferably somebody with you that has worked with people that have some kind of limitations. And that was one of the things I asked Nick. I said to him, I said, I got a messed up back. I go, I'm not going to be able to, if the guy's screaming, do box jumps or whatever, I can't do that. And he said, not a problem. They are very familiar with modifying for different injuries as well as like diseases. Like he had mentioned that they even had someone with Parkinson's that they had worked with. So I was pretty impressed with that. So we'll see. So getting that individualized type of treatment as you're going into a new activity. So I guess what I would say, when you're injured, a couple of things. If I can kind of try to round all this up into a nice conclusion here. When you're injured, first, make sure you're getting some good care and that you are doing everything that you can. Your main job should be healing that injury. And healing that injury might mean doing exercises or physical therapy or whatever it is that helps you strengthen the areas around it while whatever that main injury is healing. I really, really, really think that's important. And I think balance drills for almost any injury there is, balance type stuff is awesome, which is why I love the TRX, which will be we'll discuss that on another time. So I think making sure that you've got some good care, making sure that you're doing physical therapy or exercises that are strengthening the area around it. I think thinking outside the box of what you think you typically have at your disposal for working out options. Think, do Google. Look what classes you have. Maybe you have a bar class near you. We have a bar studio near us. Maybe you have Pilates. Maybe you live by the water and there's, a crew team. You can go rowing. Maybe there's cycling if that's what you're into, or mountain biking or hiking. You try to do some vertical serious hiking and that's a good workout. Or of course, if your foot is injured, you're going to have to do something that's got less impact perhaps on your foot. So maybe the Pilates or the yoga or, you just got to think outside the box. You got to look and explore options. And there's always new types of workouts being created. I do notice that a lot of the newer stuff now is super high impact, which is fine if your body can do that. I love high impact. But when you're injured, usually that's not the best route to go. So think outside the box, look into other options, maybe try boxing. Especially even with your foot, you might be able to throw punches and stuff and not have to worry too much about what your foot's dealing with. Then the mental side of things, I really do think that if you focus on healing and if you kind of have another activity that you can do, the next step to kind of keep you mentally focused is have little mini goals. One of the things that I really like that Temple Boxing apparently is implementing now is he said bi-weekly, so every couple of weeks they do like a little of assessment, kind of see where you're at. And I don't think it's the same as kids that get belts and things like that, but it's where you get assessed and you get to move up levels. To me, that's a huge motivator. Just dangle that carrot in front of me and I'll go for it. That's my finish line in a sense. So if I have that to look forward to, that will definitely help motivate me, and that gives me kind of a mental boost. Lastly, I think the hardest part mentally is letting go of you being able to do your main physical activity as much as you would like to. And that is really hard, and I don't really have any answers to that, except that you have to refocus for a while and try to put that energy into healing and into trying some other new things, which when you are a single sport athlete, you do tend to get very fit in that area. So it's not always a bad thing. All athletes, all marathon runners, all elite athletes take time off to do other things. So you could almost consider it that way. Like, this is your time to maybe explore some other options. And I do think things happen for a reason, and it might be a sign that maybe your body wants you to try some new things. So hopefully I didn't ramble on and on and on and on and on with this. I want to figure out how to do live at some point, so all 3 subscribers can give me their questions. So I hope this isn't too crazy boring for you guys. Anyway, but again, I want to be as real. I don't want to have anything scripted. Oh, I did want to say one other thing. I was laughing because, you know, my whole thing was, I want this to be really real. But then if you look at my little profile picture, it's actually, I went to Smashbox, which is a makeup line, and they had a day where you could go get like redone and, you know, made over. And then they had this photographer, and they would take pictures. And I had those pictures taken, and me and my girlfriend, Lyra, we went, and I was like, what the heck am I going to do with this picture? I am a coach. I'm an instructional assistant. Where am I going to put this? And we were laughing, saying, oh, we'll put it on Facebook. And then I saw it, and I thought, okay, this is where I'm using that picture. So it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, funny type thing that I'm using. Like, that is not me. The profile picture is not me at all. So it's kind of done in jest. Just thought I'd pass that on to you, my little joke to myself. Okay, again, I'm probably not going to post this stuff to Facebook anymore, so if you do have anything that you do want covered, or some other areas you want me to go into, or if Tara did a totally crappy job trying to address your question, let me know, and leave that on the comments below, and then I'll check those. But I'm planning on every other day probably trying to do these, but I will let you know how the boxing goes, which I'm really excited about it. And I actually have to go now. I got to go change and go. So I will talk to you all again in a couple days. And if you made it this far into the video, God bless you. Bye.